This is Ken Lipp with the News Times. We came to Station Yaquina Bay last week to speak with Coast Guard legend retired Master Chief Thomas McAdams and Joe Novello, the author of a new book chronicling Master Chief's 27-year career in the U.S. Coast Guard.
It's been a long time since I came down the ramp and looked at her like that, but she's just looks like she was just ready to go, and so am I. Right, 1956, September, I got stationed here, and the boat had arrived just 4 or 5 days before I did. They brought it down from Seattle, and I was here with her for just about a month, and we got our first really rough call in the breakers, and it's in the book. We lost the steering in it because we took a large break. She took care of you. She was the mother, and she took care of you all the time. And all you had to do was just give her your full attention, and she gave her right back to you.
Tom was the commanding officer. I came here, I was a seaman, and I was striking for bosun's mate, and basically became a coxswain under Chief McAdams. And we've kind of stayed friends after he got out, and I stayed in a couple more years, and then recently, the Historical Society folks asked me if I'd like to write a book about Tom, and so we got back together again, and we've been doing a little fishing and a lot of meeting, and wrote the book. So we started the book. Basically, it's his whole Coast Guard career. We did a chapter about a little bit about growing up and his background that led him into the Coast Guard, and then the early years going through boot camp, and then every station that he was at is a chapter in the book, all the way through retirement.
I don't think this call, it was in the book, but we were towing a 45-foot fishing vessel in tow, and I picked him up 70 miles at sea. It had been out tuna fishing, and it was pretty rough, and the boat was called because they were taking on water so much, and their pumps were handling it, but they were afraid. And there was 2 whales were using it to scratch their backs, and every time they'd hit it, it loosened up the planking. But there was 2 men on board, and they wanted off. They said, "Can you get us off?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And it took a little bit, but we got them off and got the boat in tow and towing it back. And about 3 hours later, I told him, I said, "How long will you stay afloat?" He said, "It'll be afloat for at least 12 hours. I said, "Well, we'll be in 10. And all of a sudden, 3 hours later, the boat sank. And they said, "So we cut the line." I said, No, don't cut it. Just let it go. Lock all the compartments, close the hatches and that. And of course, we settled down the water, and the boat went down, came back up, and we towed it for 50 miles, sunk, with just the pilot house out of the water, and we towed it in. And when we got inside the bar, I slowed down, and I let the boat settle on the bottom. It was about 35 feet, 40 feet deep there out by number 7. And then we took in all the hawser, and they got a slow tow, and we took the truck that we had here, a big Oshkosh truck with a winch behind it, went over here at South Beach, and it used to be Ferry Slip Road, went right out to the beach there, and they drove that out there, and I brought it in, got her going, and we were doing all about 8 or 9 knots with that thing, and it came back up out of the water, and I went up until just as I got into shallow water, and we draw 6 foot here. I turned, and the boat bounced up on the beach, and they hooked onto it with the truck and towed it out, put a soft pass on him, and that boat's fishing today.
The book, Master Chief Thomas McAdams, Stories That Made the Legend, Triumphs and Tragedies at Sea, is available in Newport at England Marine, JC Market, and also at Amazon.com.